Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Fairy Tail 100 Years Quest, Chapter 101. When we last left our heroes, we kind of put all of the other fights brewing around the labyrinth aside to focus fully on Natsu versus Suzaku. And what a fucking fight it was. It was intense, it was, just badass. We got to see Natsu as an almost, battle strategist, as he, thinks through, how Suzaku fights and how the battlefields would have prohibited some of Suzaku's strength from coming out. It was also just a really, really well done fight. It was tense. It was just real good. But then, after Natsu tanked kind of not quite ultimate attack from Suzaku, but a pretty high level attack from Suzaku, the wall started to melt, which shouldn't be possible from Natsu's flames, but apparently it is possible from Ignia's flames. And so Ignia's here, Natsu's panicking, even Selene is kind of panicky at the thought of Ignia being here. I read that initially as maybe Ignia is stronger than her. A commenter said maybe Selene's more panicky about what Ignia might know about the labyrinth, which is a fair point. I don't know, we'll see as this chapter goes on. So that being said, let's dive right on in Chapter 101, The True Meaning. And our picture here is of Wendy and Carla flying on a broom, like an old-fashioned witch, an uplifting stroll in the sky for a pair of friends. It's a cute little thing. Anyway, we have our scan later page, and we open where we left off, with Selene still kind of panicky. Ignia, and the crow, whose name I can never remember, the fire dragon god. He is Ignia's son in the flame of destruction. Could he be after the heart as well? And the crow just panics. Now 2 of the 5 dragon gods are here? And Selene walks off saying, it would seem that time is advancing faster than expected. There's an interesting thing, because time is in quotes. Could that mean something? I'm not sure what it would mean. But I feel like there is some meaning to that. Maybe she's just saying she had a schedule for how all of these incidents would play out, and it's, the schedule is moving faster than expected if Ignia is here. Or maybe there's some other meaning to it. Anyway, Selene calls out to the crow, Wandering Crow. She doesn't know his name either, so I feel a little better about that. And the crow's shocked. And she just sort of glares at him. The show is over. Leave this place at once. And the crow sputters out, But Elefsaria-sama is... As long as he is within my pocket space, you've no need to worry. That is, as long as I do not die. And the crow calls out, where are you going? And we have this, creepy face on Selene. To the great labyrinth. Only a dragon god can stop a dragon god, after all. I'm not sure that's true. I mean, with Mercphobia, I kind of agree, given that Mercphobia had lost a lot of his power to Ferris. But Alderaan was basically at full strength when the gang beat him. So that was admittedly a result of, all of Fairy Tail, along with Brandish, taking out, or Brandish and Jalal for that matter, taking out the god seeds piece by piece and slowly whittling away at his power. So maybe she means only a dragon god can stop a dragon god one-on-one. Which very well might be the case. Anyway, we cut back to Ignia having arrived in front of Natsu and Suzaku, and the two of them are both panicking, because what the fuck, that's not what either of them signed up for right now. And Ignia just sort of stares and grins at them. And Natsu asks, what are you doing here? And Ignia tells him, the only thing I can do. There's something here that I gotta burn. And Natsu's glares at him, and Ignia just turns away. Natsu, you still don't cut it. You're way too weak to fight me. So get stronger. So yeah, Ignia's just, he wants Natsu to be strong enough to have a good fight. Which again, might end up being his undoing when Natsu eventually ends up beating him. He'll probably regret not taking care of Natsu when he had the chance. But anyway, Natsu just snapped, hold on, are you running away? So Ignia's son is too chicken to fight a human, And Suzaku's like, no, don't fucking do that. Grabs his shoulder, cease, Natsu. And Ignia turns back, huh? And Natsu is just like, he shoves off Suzaku, and is just raring to go. I got no clue what you're after. But I also got a job to do, and that's kicking your ass. And since you showed up all of a sudden, you just saved me the hassle. And Ignia just turns to him. The truth is, you only harvest something when it's ripe. There's no way you can burn me the way you are now. But Natsu doesn't really care. He goes in for the attack. Try saying that after getting a taste of my flames! And he throws the fire fist at Ignia. Ignia just sort of brunts it, just sort of takes it, and is completely unscathed. He doesn't even give Natsu the dignity of like eating his flames. He just sort of brushes them off. I'd hardly call these flames. More like playing with fire. And Suzaku sort of gets on to Natsu. How thoughtless. The use of fire magic against a fire dragon is folly. And Natsu, strangely enough, says, I didn't know, alright? And if that's the case, then I won't beat him for the rest of my life. Which doesn't quite seem right, given that Natsu should know how dragons work, given that he's a dragon slayer. But whatever. And Natsu goes on, still kind of ignoring Ignia's earlier statements. Should I learn water magic right now or something? Which might be a clue, actually. Because if Celine is right, and no one can take a dragon god one-on-one, maybe, they clearly aren't going to beat Ignia here. And so maybe what ends up happening is, before they can beat Ignia, because we know Aquarius's key is on Giltena. So, maybe they have to make like a detour to find Aquarius before they can deal with Ignia. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Anyway, Ignia goes on, flames are the power of noble destruction. And he just lets his flames loose, just like energy all around him. Like a full-on explosion in the labyrinth. Natsu and Suzaku are both caught up in it, and the outside of the labyrinth just explodes. Okay. And everyone else sort of feels the heat. We cut to Lucy and Kiria. Lucy looks around. What? What's this heat? And Kiria, it's burning my skin. Urza and Carla also. This is such extreme temperature. Gajil and Gray. Gajil sort of snaps at Gray. What are you waiting for? Cool us off. And Gray's just, is it Natsu? No. This feels like... And Misaki just grins. Gray would know Ignia's flames, right? Because he encountered Ignia back at Elmina was the town where Merphobia rampaged, right? I think I'm right there. Anyway, Misaki sort of grins. This has certainly taken an interesting turn. And then... So, okay. So, it was kind of news to me on page 10, where we saw I thought the labyrinth was like a cave. It's like a castle structure. But now we see on page 12, or page 11, that now outside the castle, that explosion has led to this huge pit in the ground, where it seems like Natsu and Suzaku have fallen. Battered, but still able to stand. Natsu gets up. And Suzaku picks himself up as well. The labyrinth has lost its shape. And Natsu looks around. Where'd you go, Ignia? That bastard! And Suzaku grabs him. Halt! You cannot win against such a foe. And Natsu tries to shake him off. Beating him is my job. Celine, too. And Suzaku tells him, you have not settled things with me. And Natsu, interestingly enough, Natsu's not really here for the fight right now. He's just like, he's a bit more focused on the mission, it seems like. So Natsu just wants to end this right now. Fine. Let's just call it my win. And Suzaku, he still has that pride, though. He's going to try to frame things as a win if he can. And Suzaku snaps, I refuse. Why is that so? If anything, I had you overpowered. And Natsu just tells him, to be honest, we can settle things some other time. Right now, I can't just leave Ignia running around. He's a guy who really would destroy everything. And Suzaku's kind of taken aback at Natsu's serious change here. My friends are in trouble, too. And at this rate, so are yours. I do like the kind of callback to what we learned about Suzaku way back when we first met him on Elantir, is that he deeply cares for members of Diabolos. So we might end up seeing at least a temporary Natsu-Suzaku alliance. And, I had said that I thought maybe this would be the end of Diabolos' role in the story. A commenter, when I first brought that up, kind of pushed back into that idea. And maybe we are sort of seeing... This is sort of shaping up to be a way... to provide a way that Diabolos can leave this arc without being fully beat. If Diabolos and Fairy Tail enter into a temporary alliance to deal with Ignia. I don't know. Anyway, Suzaku sort of takes what Natsu told him in stride, and Natsu turns, so let's fight again after I beat him. And Suzaku calls to him, in that case I've no other choice. 2 men may accomplish what 1 man cannot against such an enemy. Let us join forces. So yeah, Suzaku kind of has the right idea here. If one of us can't do it alone, if Ignia is so powerful, let's just team up. Both our friends are in danger. But Natsu's not really here for it. Nah, I'm good. Shocking Suzaku sort of growls at him. Such a clueless fool. Surely this development would fire you up, would it not? I love the sort of he's trying to speak Natsu's language there. But Natsu just tells him, I can do it all by myself. You misunderstand, Natsu. If one wishes to protect their friends, it should be done so by any means necessary. And that sort that's what gets Natsu to listen to him. Because, yeah, that's sort of the point. There's a bigger threat here. Let's just work together to protect as many of our friends as we can. And so Natsu takes that. You're right. And he sort of slams his fists together. So for now, this is a tag team. Our name is Fires. And Suzaku sort of gets on to him. Must my element not be included in the tag team? And then we cut to somewhere else in the labyrinth. Back with Kiria and Lucy. The heat is melting their clothing. Okay. Not my favorite Majima trope, but whatever. Kiria looks around kind of panicked. What was that heat just now? And Lucy's more focused on covering herself. My clothes. And Kiria laughs at her. That's some sexy getup you've got there. You're one to talk. And Kiria sort of grins at her. Come to think of it, you and I go way back at this point. Normally, I'm only interested in strong folk. Like Urza, Loxus, Big Sis Misaki, and the rest. In other words, I don't give a crap about small fries like you. And Lucy taunts back, you should at least check if someone's a small fry first. Kiria, despite what she just said, goes on the attack. I may not care, but I don't hate playing around with small fries either. Lucy dodges that blow, but Kiria just keeps on attacking her. Their battle has fully begun now. As Lucy dodges all of Kiria's projectile sword strikes and just grins at her. How's that? I'm seeing through all your attacks. And Kiria just sort of grins at her and snaps her fingers. See through them? Do you really? And Lucy looks down in shock, realizing her clothes are all gone. Yeah! What was that for, pervert? Here's a quick little bit here. Because Kiria's response is, I was going for your body. Which is very similar to what Misaki said to Urza a couple chapters ago. When Urza's clothes were torn up rather than her body. Which does fit this idea of Kiria being Misaki's apprentice. She has some of the similar skill sets and the same priorities as her mentor. But Lucy, of course, at this point can change her outfits with magic, so she's not naked for long. Star Dress! Cancer! The only way to counter a slashing opponent is with slashing attacks. I'm not sure that's right, but okay. But she has her cancer-style scissor blades. And Kiria taunts her, you think you can cut me? You're out of your league. And the two of them just go at it, Kiria deflecting all of Lucy's attacks, seemingly. And Kiria taunts back, like hell that'll work. And Lucy, in a callback to a couple pages ago, just teases, really? And Kiria looks down in shock to learn that now she's nude too. Okay. And Lucy just winks at her. Payback. Can you change clothes? And Kiria just growls, you little shit. To be continued. Okay. I'm not the biggest fan of the shape the Lucy-Kiria fight's taking right now. It just turning into a strip show is not really how I wanted this encounter to end up. But that seems to be where we are for the moment, so whatever, I guess. I don't know. Not great. But hopefully it'll redeem itself next time now that there's no more clothes to cut. I don't know. I don't want this fight to just be Kiria in the nude the whole time. Like, Lucy at least has a change of outfits. But anyway, let's talk about the Ignia and Natsu and Suzaku stuff. Well, it's not quite as just so incredibly, intense as last chapter's big battle between Natsu and Suzaku. There is still just a lot of good stuff here. We get to really see just how incredibly strong Ignia is, and how at this point Natsu really, especially on his own, has no chance against him. And I'm skeptical even with Suzaku's help, he'll be able to do much good. Celine's on her way to Ignia too, so maybe, Celine will end up helping the two of them out, but also maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see how all this plays out, as this arc goes on. But yeah, I'm excited for a Natsu-Suzaku tag team, Suzaku's just kind of become a fun character to me. I want to see more of him, and I am starting to think he will end up at least going into the next arc. We'll still have, if not all of Diabolos, at least Suzaku. I don't know. I'm still not really sure how the rest of this series is going to take shape after the Labyrinth. I could see Celine dying post Labyrinth. Right, at the end, Celine is sealed away, or she's killed, or whatever the hell they do to her. I obviously don't see Ignia dying here. And I don't know when the fifth dragon is going to show up. Because they're still wrapped up in mystery. I think Viernus was their name, if I'm not mistaken. Right, let me see if I can find that on the wiki. Yeah, Viernus, the gold dragon god, who we've not heard anything about. So yeah, I don't know if Ignia is gonna, the way Ignia is built up as this kind of big bad, I could kind of see, or as this ultimate enemy for Natsu to face, I could see Ignia being the last dragon that the gang has to face, but also the fact that Viernus is still so wrapped up in mystery, maybe we're saving Viernus for last? I don't know. And I don't know how exactly if Celine falls here, I'm not quite sure how Diabolos continues to play out. I don't know. I've generally been very impressed with kind of the structure Mashima has put to this series, especially with Diabolos. How, in most fairy tale arcs, the villains of an arc are kind of done by the end of that arc back in the original series. The Horacio and Sace eventually return post their arc, but in a far less villainous role. The Endless guys never heard from again. The Seven Kin of Purgatory, with the exception of Ultir and Merity, who join up with Jalal, are never heard from again. Future Rogue is sort of wiped out of existence, so he's never heard from again. Tartaros is done by the end of their arc. Generally, villains have their arc and then they leave. Either because they're dead or just defeated or whatever. Diabolos, I've been very impressed how Diabolos just sort of threaded all the way through 100 Years Quest, and I can kind of see them. I'm just curious to see how Mashima will continue to do that post this arc, because there are parts of this arc that feel sort of like a finale to the whole Diabolos saga, but also if we're teasing a far future Natsu Suzaku rematch, then maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, lots of things to consider with Diabolos. And then there's still this Lucy Kiria stuff, which is kind of very fan servicey. And hopefully Kiria does not remain naked for the entire fight. That'd be just kind of crass, I think. But we'll see. We'll see going into 2 weeks from now when the next chapter comes out. There's still plenty of fun to be had here, even if it's just that bit's a little bit too horny for my taste. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!